Hey my glam girls, welcome back to my channel. It's Chelsea, where we talk about all things glam and all things girly. I am a beauty enthusiast that loves to discuss everything dealing with beauty and makeup, but I also like to throw in a little bit of vlogs and fashion. And so if those types of videos are of interest to you, I would love for you to consider subscribing and joining the Glam Girl Squad. And today we got a few things that we need to talk about. First, I want to say thank you so much for giving me some time during this just extremely hard time for all of us with the passing of Mel Thompson. She was a friend of mine and it did hit me hard and I needed a few days. I did want to get this content up to you all sooner, but I did need some time. So I truly appreciate all of your just sweet messages and your virtual hugs. I felt them all and I just truly love you all from the bottom of my heart. So I did finally get some motivation to film, and so we are here today to talk about some new Hourglass products and a new Lawless Foundation. So thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I truly do appreciate it, and let's get right into this video. So first I want to start off talking about the new Lawless Foundation. This was kindly sent to me from Lawless and Octoly. So thank you so much for sending this to me complimentary. This is their Conceal the Deal Long Wear Full Coverage Foundation. It says on the side, clean AF. So some quick details about this foundation. It does retail for $39. We do get a standard 1 fluid ounce and 30 milliliters of product. And it does come in 28 shades. Golden Peach is described as for tan with deep peach undertones, and that is the shade that I did pick up. So like I said, this shade is it's weird because I feel like it's too light, but then it sets into the skin and now I'm like, we might have actually made it work. I don't know, but here we go. Just some high points about this foundation. It has a natural finish. It's going to be full coverage, vegan, long wearing, and clean at Sephora. So it's a long wearing, lightweight, fluid foundation that delivers modern full coverage with self-setting natural matte finish, and it also is silicone free. And so the owner of the brand said that she wanted to create a full coverage foundation that wasn't going to look heavy or feel heavy on the skin. It does have a serum like formula and it's quite liquidy. You hear that? So when applying it to the skin, I went in with a foundation brush. This is actually one of the new brushes from Refer. It's the Refer 31. Love this. I don't know if it's out yet, so if it's not out yet, I'll of course let you all know when it becomes available. So I went in with this brush to blend out the foundation, and it did blend in really nicely into the skin. I would agree that it has a self-setting component because it goes on like a liquid, but it does set like a powder to give you that matte finish. And I think it looks really nice on the skin. For me, I definitely like my foundations to have a little bit more of a satin feel. You all know that if you're not new to my channel. So today I just put it on. I didn't put on any type of like hydrating primer or anything like that because I wanted you all to see how it looks on the skin without anything like zhuzhing it up. So it looks very, I would say it looks very natural. Definitely has like a soft matte type of finish. For me, I would like to add a little something to it to give it a little bit more fluidity in terms of just how it looks on the skin. But I think it does look really nice, and I definitely feel like this would be quite long wearing. I haven't worn it all day, so I will be following up with you all about how it wears after, multiple uses. After about 5 minutes of wearing the foundation on the skin, it really felt quite natural. Like I touched my face, it didn't really feel tacky at all. I'm actually liking this on my face a lot better than I initially thought I would. In natural lighting, this is where I was like, okay, maybe the shade does work, but it doesn't look, too light in natural lighting. And then with flash photography, it looks really nice on the skin. And once again, it doesn't look like terribly light. So I don't know. If you're about my complexion, I would say if you could go a shade deeper, the shade after Golden Peach is Honeycomb. This is described as tan with warm gold undertones. So that probably would be a better shade match, but I think I can make this work better than I thought I could. So far I'm liking this. I will keep you up to date as to, how I like it in terms of like when I actually apply it to my liking, and you know, the longevity of it. But just from how it looks on the skin, I definitely feel like this will give me good long wearing type of coverage, and I think it looks pretty nice. So thank you to Octoly and Lawless. I truly appreciate you being so kind and sending this to me. And let's get into these Hourglass products. So last year I picked up their holiday collection, and I told you all I'm not buying any more Hourglass palettes until I feel like they come out with one for truly deeper complexions. And you know, we had the little Scandal by Hourglass. They came out with the ambient lighting too. They made us think it was for deeper skin, but they really just took shades that they already had, put it into a palette. I feel like they kind of saturated the photos so where they look deeper, and they had a model holding it that made you think it would really work for deeper skin tones. I didn't purchase that one, but when I saw that the shades were all existing shades, I knew it was not going to work the way it looked like it was going to work, so I didn't purchase it. However, this holiday season, they came out with 2 of their traditional 6-pan palettes, and actually these actually only have 5 shades in them, but they did come out with 2. So this is the one for deeper complexions. I did not pick up the one for lighter complexions because I have purchased 2 of those palettes before, and the bronzers usually don't really work for me. So I was like, I'm just gonna go for the one that's supposed to be for deeper complexions, and we'll go from there. I also picked up their volume 3 palette, and this palette does have all 3 new shades, and this is going to be formulated for medium and deeper skin tones. I purchased this volume 3 palette from Hourglass. From what I can see so far, this is only available on Hourglass's website. And I picked up this one. This is the Ambient Lighting Universal Unlocked palette. I picked this one actually up from Beautylish. I have also seen this at Sephora, and this is of course available at Hourglass. So there's a few places you can buy this one. So this palette does retail for $80, and this year they changed it from a 6-pan palette to a 5-pan palette. We do get a larger of one of their ambient lighting setting powders. So they say that this is a limited edition palette that features 2 of their best-selling shades and 3 brand new ambient lighting powder shades. So one of the existing shades is this ambient lighting powder shade in Radiant Light. It is described as having a gold beige finish. And there's a swatch of that shade right there. The other existing shade is going to be this bronzer here. This is the bronzer in Ambient Lighting Bronze. And this is the shade Radiant Bronze Light. It is described as a warm bronze. And there is the shade swatched. And then the 3 new shades are going to be both of the blushes and the strobing powder right here. So the deeper blush is called Rose Heat. It is described as a deep berry. And the lighter blush is called Coral Flush. It is described as a bright peony. And then lastly, we have the strobing powder, and this is their metallic strobing powder, and this is in the shade Solar Strobe Light, which is described as metallic champagne. So these are all of the shades in this Ambient Lighting Universal Unlocked palette. So when applying them to the cheeks, I first started out with this ambient lighting powder in the shade Radiant Light, and I used that to set my under eye. I did first go in with my Cashapp setting powder because that is the powder I use to set my concealer. These powders, from my use of using them, they really aren't, in my opinion, the best setting powders for concealers. That's just for my preferences. So I like to use them as finishing powders on top of my traditional setting powder. So I did go in, set my under eyes, or finished my under eyes with that Radiant Light powder. I think it's very beautiful. I really like the shade of it against my complexion. And I did use this palette before, and I remember being out, and I was actually using this palette in the car, so I didn't really have the best lighting to kind of see what things looked like on my face. But then later on that evening, I was talking to my family on FaceTime, no, it was on Zoom, and I was like, wow, my face looks so nice, like so just like perfected. And I was like, well, okay, this is nice. And so I really do like this radiant lighting powder under the eyes and for like that T-zone area where you want that, you know, you want light to hit and reflect, but you also don't want to look like shimmery in a disco ball, you know, especially for those areas of the face. Next, we went in with the bronzer. So this is their bronzer in Radiant Bronze Light. And I actually do think it bronzed up the skin a little bit. So I do have an additional bronzer on this side, but you can see the demonstration of the bronzer. I didn't really think it was going to show up as well as it did. So it does show up. I think this is going to be one of those bronzer shades that you can use when you want a light bronze to the skin. Like you just really want something light, nothing too dramatic. You want to add like maybe the slightest warmth to the face. I think this bronzer works well for that. It does build up, which I am very happy about. And I think you could also use it as a bronzer topper. So if you're about my complexion, maybe a shade deeper. I think if you're about my complexion, this is about the deepest shade you can use this bronzer as a bronzer alone. I think if you are maybe a couple of shades deeper than me, you could use this bronzer shade as like a bronzer topper. So using your bronzer, and then if you wanted just like a radiant look to your bronze, you could go in with this bronzer and get that effect from it. But I don't think if you are a couple of shades deeper than me, you will be able to use this bronzer alone to bronze your skin. If you do have this palette, you are a couple of shades deeper than me, and you can, please leave that in the comment section below so we know, you know, the shade range as to how this bronzer shows up. But just from how it looks against my skin, I don't think we're gonna really see it bronzing skin that is deeper than me, like I said, alone. Now the blushes, they did not come to play. For both sides that I applied blush onto my face, I applied way too much. These blushes are so pigmented and so pretty. So you just need the lightest amount of blush. I went in with one of BK Beauty's new brushes. So they came out with a brush set in collaboration with Angie, from Angie Hot and Flashy. She's a YouTuber here. And let me just say, the whole brush collection is everything. You truly will enjoy these if you enjoy the BK Beauty brushes. And I will talk more about these in another video, but I will have them down in the D box. They're very good and I highly recommend them. So I went in with her blush brush, and I was like, okay, I'm applying a little bit too much blush. So if I were to use these blushes again, or when I use them again, because I will, I would go in with a more fluffy brush so you can diffuse it better. So I would probably go in with like my Sonia G detailing brush, or I would go in with the Sonia G Cheek Pro brush to really just kind of diffuse the blush against my skin, because you don't need a lot and they will come out the gate like, which I don't think is bad at all, especially if you have a deeper complexion. These blushes will definitely show up, so I am happy about that. And then the strobing powder I think is so pretty. I really like the tone of it. Although it is being described as a metallic champagne, I do feel like there is more gold to this particular shade than just champagne. And I really like that, because this is a type of shade that will show up on deeper complexions and look more complementary than your traditional champagne shade. So I really feel like this palette is truly nice. I think this palette would have been excellent if this bronzer shade would have been a new bronzer shade and it would have been deeper, because all of the other shades in this palette, I truly do see working for complexions that are deeper than me, not just one or two shades deeper than me. And I think that it's just beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. I have truly enjoyed using this palette. And like I said, when I used it the other day, at the end of the day, I was like, oh, I can't deny, this looks gorgeous on the face. So that would be my biggest suggestion, that they would have put a deeper shade of bronzer, threw in a new shade, give us 4 new shades. The lighter palette has 4 new shades. Give us 4 new shades and put in a deeper bronzer, and this palette would have honestly been so worth it. I would have highly recommended it for any and everyone interested in it. I do recommend it. I think it's beautiful, and I think if you want to get this palette and you are, you know, a few shades deeper than me, just know that this bronzer shade would probably be a bronzer topper. You could of course use it on the eyes, but it's probably not gonna show up on you as a regular bronzer. I do like the functional mirror that comes in this palette. It's nice and large, and I really enjoy the new packaging. So this is not the shiny packaging that they normally have. I like this marbling effect, and there is a magnetic closure. So you open it and it's got this magnetic closure. So I actually really like this. Some people have said they didn't like the packaging, but I truly like it. So I'm actually happy about this one. Now for the palette that I was very interested in, because I was like, you didn't do right the last time, Hourglass. You actually lied to us last time. So let's see if they actually did right by this one and really made a palette for deeper complexions. So like I said, here is their Ambient Lighting Volume 3 palette. This palette does retail for $64, just like the other palettes do. And we do get 3 new shades, which I was so happy about. I do feel like this one is actually a step in the right direction with giving us 3 new shades, and they are actually deeper than any of the other shades that they do have. So quick swatches of these. So first we have Eternal Light, and this is a finishing powder. And so with their finishing powders, you can use them however they would fit best on your skin. For me, these first 2 shades I would use as bronzers, and then the last shade is a highlighter. The second shade is Transcendent Light. And the last shade is Prismatic Strobe Light. So as you can see, these 3 shades definitely have depth to them. If you are deeper than me, you can see that you would definitely be able to use this middle shade potentially as a bronzer. This lighter shade could be maybe a bronzer topper, or even like a blush shade, depending on your complexion and the depth of your complexion. And then this highlighter shade is definitely going to be one that is fitting for deeper complexions. So I am like, well, okay, Hourglass. And if my arm looks a little ashy, I'm sorry. Now, can Hourglass do better? Yes, they can. And I am holding them to that standard that they will do better, that we will get a volume 4, because they can really go deeper than this to really get into those rich shades of complexions that would not be able to wear this. These would be bronzer toppers on them. They can do better, but I am actually happy to see that they're trying. So let's see what they do in the future. But getting into these powders, they're so soft and blendable. The formula is the same, which I'm really happy about. The formula is the same as with any of their ambient lighting powders. The packaging is going to be that standard reflective packaging, and then you get a really nice functional mirror in here as well. So I started off with shade 2 on the face. This middle shade right here, used it as a bronzer, and it bronzed the skin beautifully. I was like, I wish I would have had this on vacation last week, because it would have been perfect for that. I do think this bronzer shade definitely could go for complexions, like I said, that are a few shades deeper than me, to actually bronze the skin. Then I went in with shade 1. So here's shade 2. I went in with shade 1, and I tried to put it right here on my face so you could see what it looked like. And I think it was a little too much bronze all in one space. So I don't know if you were able to really see the differentiation between the 2 shades on my face. But shade 1, I would also use as a bronzer. And in terms of like when I would use either shade, looking at them closely, I feel like shade 1 is gonna have a little bit more of an orange hue. Shade 2, I feel like has a little bit more of like a traditional brown hue to it. There's shade 2. So for me, I don't know. I think it would depend on how much, or like the depth of a bronzer that I would want. I could see myself using shade 2 like right around here, and then shade 1 like right here, mixing the 2, or just using shade 1 when I want more of like a lighter bronze, shade 2 when I want more of a deeper bronze. But I would definitely use both of them, and I really enjoy both shades. I actually took shade 1, and I'm sorry I didn't film this because it would have probably been more helpful to do it, but I took shade 1 and I did use it to contour my nose, and I do think it brought nice warmth to the nose. And I'll just add a little bit more so you can kind of see it in action. This is the BK Beauty 205 brush. And so as you can see, And I'm putting on a little bit more than I should just so you can, you know, really see it. It has a really nice tone to it. It doesn't look, like I said, it looks more orangey, but it doesn't look orange. Maybe orange is not a good word. It definitely has more of like a tan look. But, and I'll blend this out, but I wanted you all to be able to see it. It has a nice bronzing effect on the face. So like I said, it really just depends on, you know, when I would want to use either bronzer. Both of them work really nicely for my complexion. Okay, blending that out a little bit so it's not as harsh. Then this strobing light is so pretty. I did spray my face to fuse all of my powders together. I went in with the Desi Skin Spray, put a little bit more of this strobing powder on, but it definitely came to play. And their strobing powders have never disappointed. This shade, I think by itself might be a little too deep for my complexion, so I would mix it with a lighter shade to give me some more depth. I could definitely use this shade in the winter, in the summer, if I have more of a tan, because it would look nicer on my complexion, but it is definitely a highlighter that's going to show up on deeper skin, that will look complementary on deeper skin. So honestly, I am very happy with this purchase. Like, I think I might be more happy with this purchase than this one. And I really like this one, but I feel like this one is different and it's new. And if I could say, I see the effort that they put into this one to try to make sure that they are giving shades that will reach deeper complexions. I think both of these are quite complementary to each other, because you can use this one as your bronzer palette, and then you can use this one as like a whole face palette. And granted, buying both of these is not going to be the cheapest cost, but if you were interested in both and you wanted to really have both, and you wanted to see, like, is it worth having both? I really do think it is. For me, like I said, for this strobing shade, I would just mix this one with the highlighter shade that is a little lighter. I could even mix it with the highlighter shade in here, so mix the two together, and that would give me a more complementary highlight to my complexion. I just don't actually do that. Just take a little bit and add it there, and see how it just lightened it up and gave it a nice, beautiful, glowy look. And let's add a little to the T-zone, because I love adding highlighter here. I mean, it's gorgeous. It really is gorgeous. So I am very happy with both of these purchases. I think Hourglass, like I said, I think they are moving in the right direction. I would love to see them continue to make these improvements. I'm looking forward now to their holiday releases next year. Because if they keep steering themselves in this right direction, I do feel like they can redeem themselves. Because even though they did not do right with volume 2, I think they did right with volume 3. I'm looking forward to a volume 4, because I think that will just be even more stunning, because the formulation of their powders really is unmatched. It really is. And I have been waiting for one of these palettes to come out that I feel like I can actually use and travel with, you know, because these face palettes are meant to be used as a face palette. You can use your powders, your blushes, your bronzer, and your highlighter. So for me, I feel like I actually could take this with me and have a full face in a palette here. Or like I said, I could take both of these because they're very nice and small and compact, and I could have a deeper bronzer here, the rest of my face powders here, and I'm not taking up too much space. So very happy. I would say this is the first collection from Hourglass in terms of their ambient powders that I can actually see myself using, and not just here and there. Like, these are gonna go in my drawer here where I like to reach for the products that I really enjoy. I'm very happy with these. Highly recommend them if you're interested in them. I think they did right, I really do. And like I said, I will keep you all updated on this Lawless Foundation. I've had the Lawless Foundation on now for, I would say, about a couple of hours, and it's just feeling quite, it feels like skin. It doesn't feel heavy at all, and it feels very lightweight. I do feel like my face is a little dry. So like I said, next time I wear this particular foundation, I'm gonna zhuzh it up the way that I like to zhuzh up my foundations. And I think it will be just perfect for what I like. Everything else I'm wearing on my face will be listed down in the D box. And that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I am dying to hear what you guys are thinking about. I know what I think, but I want to hear what you guys think. Are you interested in these Hourglass palettes? Are you going to pick them up? Do you already have them? Are you interested in the Lawless Foundation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I cannot wait to read them. And if you've made it to this point in the video and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, I would love for you to consider subscribing and joining the Glam Girl Squad. And guys, that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to see you in my very next video. Bye, guys.